Hello everyone, it's Chelsea, and before we get into this week's video, I wanted to let you guys know about an exciting new thing we're doing at TFD. It's called The Studio at TFD, and it is a series of digital workshops around all sorts of topics, from money management to mental health to organization to entrepreneurship and everything in between. We've got several amazing events coming up, and you can find out more about all of them at thefinancialdiet.com/studio. See you guys there. Hey guys, it's Chelsea from The Financial Diet, and this week's video is sponsored by Fidelity Investments. And today I wanted to do something totally fun, not really related to personal finance, not really related to anything serious or all that useful, but you know, it's summer, it's hot, we're really not doing a whole lot socially, we're all probably pretty bored, so I figured it'd be a nice opportunity to do something a little fun and maybe hopefully a little humorous. If you guys know me on social media, if you follow me, you're probably familiar with my Instagram account where people are constantly saying really, really nice things to me, which I so appreciate. Everyone is super kind when I post a picture of like a meal I made or a part of my home. I always get, you know, such a nice kind of outpouring of you know, compliments and questions. And listen, I mean, why do we all use social media? For affirmation. So I love that affirmation, and it feels really good to be able to share that part of my life with you guys. But I also get from people like this kind of perception that I'm, you know, perfectly composed, which is very much not the case, or that I'm always doing things that sort of come out perfectly. And that's also very much not the case. I'm pretty critical on myself. Like, I would say, outside of even just like having anxiety, which I very much have and go to therapy for, I also just tend to be a person who's pretty self-critical and doesn't give herself a lot of credit. I'm constantly thinking about what I could be doing better or differently, and not really focusing as much on what I'm doing well now or how far I've come in a lot of ways. So I thought it would be kind of funny, in the interest of looking back at money that wasn't well spent, energy that wasn't well spent, and ways in which I have, let's just say, glowed up over the years, to take a bit of a cringe-worthy tour through my old Instagram. Now, for the record, everyone, before you guys jump into the comments being like, love yourself, don't be hard on yourself, I actually feel very charmed looking at all those old pictures. Like, it doesn't feel to me like a negative thing, because I see how happy and proud I was of things that, looking back, were a little bit janky, and I feel like that's so great for her. I love that. And it's fun to look at these moments, even if they are a little bit silly. So it's all done in good fun, but it definitely has reminded me how much things have changed, and makes me feel a little bit more grateful for my choices and my life now, and keeps me humble, keeps me close to the ground, as they say. So without further ado, here is a quick cringe-worthy tour through some of my old Instagrams. By the way, these are in no specific order. I rounded up some ones that made me laugh for different reasons, but I don't know what order they're in, so we're just gonna get the real reaction. So first up is a photo of what appears to be risotto, although I really didn't know that until I read the caption. But basically, I think one thing that I've learned, I actually find it really charming when people post struggle food porn. Like, I have one girl on my feed that I actually know from high school who like consistently posts photos of food that she makes that I'm sure tastes good, but like the photos themselves are just so unappetizing. And if any of you guys remember when Martha Stewart used to post on Instagram, and she would post the most disgusting looking food, like she would take a picture of lobster bisque in a dark room using the flash feature on her phone, which is just never gonna get you a good shot. But I will say, I definitely think my cooking skills have improved considerably in the past like 6 years, but what has even more improved is my ability to photograph food. And I feel like a few key elements of food photography is like, you need to make sure there's good light, the photo needs to be nice and clear, you need to make sure it's like discernible what the food is, like there needs to be context, like this is just a bowl of like various mushy textures. So I feel like that is something I look back on and I'm like, wow, I've really improved my food photography skills in a short period of time, relatively. Lauren Verhaeg liked this though. I think Lauren Verhaeg liked every single photo that we're gonna be discussing today, which I have to say that is true friendship. liking the struggle and liking the success. Next up, honestly, this photo is like not even that much of a struggle in the sense that that manicure is cute. Hand looks cute. I managed to like set up a nice little setup with like the postcard underneath that sort of echoes the colors in my nails. But this is a struggle for the simple fact that I used to spend an absurd amount of money on elaborate gel manicures. Like with tax and tip, this manicure probably cost me $75 here in New York City, and like not worth it, not worth it. And also gel manicures, doing so many of them over the first like 2 years that I lived in New York and became obsessed with them, in addition to costing me thousands and thousands of dollars that I totally regret, also destroyed my nails. Like it took me years for the nails to get back to the quality that they were before I destroyed them with gel manicures. So big ol' fail on that front. But this picture goes to show that while some of the manicures, despite being a mistake for a lot of other reasons, were cute in their own right, like some of them were not cute. I don't know why I got like Illuminati like gemstones, like Adam Sandler Uncut Gems manicure. It's like, this is just not my vibe. Like even back then, I do not have the vibe of the girl who should have black nails with like gold glitter and gold diamonds on them. Like it's just, I don't know if it's like a mob wife or like what I was thinking with that. But like, so in addition to being an incredible financial fail, some of them were also aesthetic fails. Let's be clear. Okay, so some of this food looks good. But I just want to say to all of the people who are like, when I say, every time I say in any context that I don't bake, I can't bake, people are always like, yes, you can. Anyone can bake. Just try. I do try. And what happens is this tart, which I don't even think looks like it possibly could have tasted good. But it was like just multiple different cardboards of like various wetness on top of each other. Like that dough was inedible. I did not put any sugar on the pears. So it was just like, have you guys ever had those like dried fruit chips that are just like dehydrated fruit? Like that was basically the texture of the fruit. And then I just like threw cinnamon on top of it. It was inedible. And shout out to my husband because like he struggled through a piece of that pear galette, even though it was an utter fail. Pasta and tomato salad look pretty good though, so shout out to that. I have learned a lot in my life about like what I can and cannot do, and one of those things that I cannot do in addition to baking is carving pumpkins. As you can see, my husband actually kind of is a good pumpkin carver. Like he made a pretty credible face on that pumpkin. Someone in the comments of this points out my attempt to write boo on my pumpkin actually just looks like the number 600. But it's just because I don't have very good manual dexterity. I don't have patience, which is like the number one skill you need to successfully carve a pumpkin. But I feel like it's just important in life to sort of come to terms with what you are good at, what you're not good at, and don't try to force yourself to do things you're not good at. So since then, we get pumpkins, we put them in little clusters, decorative gourd season, motherfucker, as that famous article says. And I don't take a knife to any of them because that's just not my journey. I just would like to say that I feel like as a society, there was like a time period before we really understood how the internet worked so well that we felt really comfortable just like taking pictures of strangers and putting it on our own social media. Like, this is horrible, but I just thought that dad was hot, so I took a picture of him and put it on my Instagram. Which is like really not cool objectively. Like you should not. Like I'm all for objectifying men, but not like that. Like this man did not consent to be my thirst trap. Inappropriate. We have to be respectful of people on the internet. If you ever post a picture of someone on the internet, blur out their face or use an emoji over it. The struggle. Let us count the layer cake struggle going on here. Stoli blueberry, check. Appears warm too, not even cold Stoli blueberry. Andy Capp's hot fries, check. Now listen, I still love Andy Capp's hot fries, but I'm not gonna Instagram a picture of them next to a whole bottle, an entire bottle of Stoli blueberry. Like, what a food combo. Also, this was the era of the internet where everyone was using those really, really tragic Instagram filters. Like, I don't think anyone ever still uses the Instagram-based filters. I feel like most people use third parties or go au natural with their Instagram photos now, but this is back in like that really sort of like faux film camera era. It even has like the little border. Also in front of a bunch of knives. I feel like no one needs to be photographing a full bottle of vodka next to a bunch of knives. So not the best choice. Of my blurry photo eras, I feel like we were all very comfortable back in like 2013, 2014 with posting photos to our Instagrams that were so blurry or dark that you could like barely see what was happening in them. And I have a whole lot of those photos. And actually this particular example features my now business partner. So we've come a long way, 7 years later almost, and we're not posting blurry photos with alcohol in them. And we own a whole ass business. Good for us. Okay, I would like to talk about two things in this photo. Number one, till the day I die, Mark will never stop making fun of me for the color that I initially painted our living room wall when we first moved to Brooklyn. I actually don't remember the name of the color, but I'm pretty sure it was like sour apple. This is like literally the least flattering, most heinous color you could possibly paint a wall. And I'll never forget, like 3 brush strokes into it, I was like, this seems like a mistake. But I had already spent the money on the paint. So I was like, I guess I'll just live with this. And we lived in a railroad style 1-bedroom. So that was like the main wall of the house. Like it was definitely not an accent wall. It was like you're living inside like a piece of Laffy Taffy, basically. Like it was the most heinous color. Also, really have come a long way in terms of my floral arrangements, not loving those flowers. This is actually also, I used to wear just princess clothes. Like I love to dress like a human American Girl doll. Like I was always wearing just like petticoats and shit. Like I don't know why. So that was also just like an aesthetic moment that I'm glad to have graduated from. Also, lastly, if we could note the turkey napkins that have made their way into the serious decor, despite having been a result of Mark being asked to go to the store and get napkins for a dinner. And he brought home these napkins that have literal turkeys on them. So the Turkins, as they will forever be called. I just want to share this photo because I've talked so much on this channel about my robin's egg blue fox fur collar coat that cost like $700 that I wore like 3 times. I actually somehow have evidence on my Instagram of having worn that. But I do think that that was maybe the single worst item I've ever purchased in terms of return on investment. Also, this is a bit of a digression, but one time in a video when I mentioned that this was a robin egg blue fox fur wool coat, fox fur collar wool coat, some pretentious so-and-so in the comments was like, it's pronounced faux, honey. First of all, lady, I'm literally bilingual in French. I know how faux is pronounced. Second of all, it is literally fox fur, the animal fox. They killed a fox to make that collar. Third of all, do not come for me. This is my house. How dare you? Hair looked good though. Hair looked good. This is the perfect example on Instagram of how we used to just post like pitch black photos, like completely blurry photos that are completely indiscernible, and then on top of them slap a filter that makes them even more impossible to see and even blurrier. This one also has one of those like faux borders around it too. But note that this is a picture of 3 martinis. You can only tell if the luminosity on your device is turned all the way up, but somehow this warranted a spot on the grid. We were just really posting any old thing on Instagram back in the day. This is literally a picture of a bottle of soap in my shower. Why? What was Chelsea doing here? We're gonna call this my attempt to get artistic. I was really trying to do, I really thought I did something here. This looks like something a 4-year-old would do and you would congratulate them for. Oh man, has there ever been a more tragic Instagram photo than I guess at the time, 25-year-old screen capping themselves listening to Bubble Butt by Major Lazer and putting that on the grid to just give you, I guess, a peek into where I was at that time. Honestly, though, listen, I have been to multiple Major Lazer concerts. They were great. I still listen to Major Lazer sometimes. Listen, we all have a darkness within us. Another thing that somehow ended up on the grid, I should note that a lot of these photos were pre-stories existing, where you could post like your kind of aesthetically strange images that also kind of shared an insight into your life. You didn't have to, you had to go on the grid at this point. But this is literally a pile of dirt-covered snow on a New York City street. I guess just showing what life is like in the Big Apple, baby. It's the concrete jungle where dreams are made of, and it is full of massive piles of snow covered in dirt. This is another one that is not in and of itself a cringeworthy photo, but definitely illustrates a misguided money spend for me. I used to buy things because I thought like, I like the way these look as an object. Like, in this case, I thought these were really cute. Like, I liked the crisscross straps with the flowers. They looked, you know, fun and summery, and I thought that would be a really nice look. Unfortunately, I knew even while trying them on that I could walk like maybe 30 feet in these shoes. Like, they truly just like cut the shit out of my toe, like physically cut them. I don't even know how a pair of shoes could slice into skin, but these did. I'm not lying or exaggerating when I say that I wore these shoes 0 times. But they did manage to get a spot on the grid in 2014. Aw, honestly, like, this makes me like,
What is that?
Lauren dragging me behind the camera. She just goes, what is that? So I created myself a little mood board, and I like put it together with like, you know, the photos of stuff that I liked. And I don't even think the photos are bad or anything, but what I did was like, I made it out of like tape, and it was like clearly very shoddily put together. Like, as much as I feel that I do have some creative inclinations in life, I'm very bad at things that I would describe as like crafts or artistic. Like, I cannot draw, I cannot paint. Anytime, like, I can paint a wall, but I can't paint a painting. And like, anytime that I'm having to like assemble something in a craft sense, it looks just incredibly janky. Like, the way the tape was taped out on this, on the corners, I like tried to make like sort of a push pin effect, but the way the tape was actually taped out, once again, it looks like something a literal child would have made, and you would have been like, that's amazing, sweetie, but like clearly put it up because a child made it. Except I was a 25-year-old. I also apparently liked this myself, which is deranged. This is a fun snapshot from the era of my life when I was vegan till 6 and constantly eating things such as vegan oatmeal cream pies and vegan large lattes and wondering why it was not resulting in weight loss. And lastly, we have just like an era of decor that I'm very glad to have graduated from, which is repurposing alcohol bottles to be other things. Like, very occasionally, if you like get, you know, a really special alcohol from something, you know, like on a trip or something, and there's a beautiful bottle. Like, actually those, like, you know, those tequila bottles that are like, they're like really expensive. They're like $150, and they're like those big sort of like, almost like obelisks, not obelisks, but they're like, do you know what I'm talking about? And they're like blue and white. They look like ceramic. But anyway, like, there are certain ones that are like almost works of art, and like, sure, fine, whatever, keep these. But this is like a random shitty vodka brand that just like, I drank the vodka and then proceeded to use that bottle as decor to store what appears to be like very janky looking fake flowers. But in any sense, I just think not so elegant to use just like call liquor bottles as like part of your decor. Like, that's very fratty. Anyway, clearly have evolved. Lauren did like that picture though, so truly had my back at all stages of life. In any case, I sometimes think that it's nice to look back at what you were doing a few years ago to feel more appreciative and less critical of the things that you're doing now. And of course, it should be done in jest. You know, I feel nothing but like charmed when I look at this stuff. But it is fun to do, and I highly recommend you do it yourself with either some social media you have, or reading old writing, or looking at old work that you did in a specific hobby before you got better at it. Just remember where you came from, because it makes it so much easier on the person you are today and where that person happens to be. And if you are ready for the final stage of that glow up and want to start investing, check out Fidelity Investments. As I mentioned, this video is sponsored by Fidelity Investments. They are here to help you reach your savings goals. And if you're looking for an easy way to finally start investing what you save, check out Fidelity. As always, guys, thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and to come back every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for new and awesome videos. Bye.